Hey everybody, and let's take a look at where we're at. We are in the last half of class. Believe it or not, we're already there. We're going to look at the next of, I call them the middle of the two P's that we got. Now we've gone past product. We're going to be looking at pricing, and we're going to be looking at something called place, which seems a little odd. It's sort of an odd way of describing it, but that's what's coming up. Excuse me, you want to read those chapters and get the quizzes done. In the case of pricing, let's get it done on July 3rd, and in the case of place, we'll get those chapter quizzes done on July 6th, which is Sunday. Okay, and there's some supplemental material that is available to you to read. I strongly suggest you do that. It really helps you understand what's going on in these areas. It's like I've said before, it's a little bit hard for textbook writers to describe what's coming up or what's in the future because they don't know, so they don't really want to put that out there in a textbook. It's understandable. But these are things that are happening, and I know that will continue to happen. So they're just things you need to learn about. Okay, so let's take a look at those chapters. Actually, before I do, I'm going to take a look at something here. You have a discussion post this week that is revolving around something called dynamic pricing. It's kind of an interesting subject. I've had some kind of a rocky history with it. It doesn't necessarily work all that well, but you can kind of understand where technology, people think that it's a really great idea to do. And what it does is basically dynamically change pricing based on maximizing profit and maximizing demand. So it adjusts pricing on a pretty fluid basis. So, we can think of things like airline tickets. Obviously, they do that. We've heard about the whole concept of surge pricing that we're seeing from like the rideshare companies and what have you. And it's all based on the same concept. We'll charge more when the demand's high. We'll charge less when the demand's low. So, but that's what's basically involved with dynamic pricing. I want you to read about it, understand it, and tell me what the pros and cons are of it in your discussion post. I think it's a pretty interesting subject, actually. And so there's a couple of other articles we want to read, and we'll also do that with the supply chain management as well. So chapter 9 is having to do with pricing, and at the end of this chapter, the learning objectives are you want to be able to discuss the importance of pricing and why marketers spend so much time thinking about pricing. Obviously they do, and they devote a fair amount of resources from a technology standpoint to help them do pricing. Okay. Describe the role and impact of price on supply and demand. Just be able to describe when to position a brand for low pricing, high pricing. Compare how to achieve profits via selling more units or higher margins. Describe how the new world of behavioral economics helps marketers nudge customers towards certain buying at certain prices. They used to call that psychological pricing, but whatever. Those are all terms. Use more complicated pricing schemes like non-linear pricing, and then explain when and why marketers change prices, such as over the product life cycle. There's also some dynamics that are going on right now in terms of pricing in relationship to inflation as to whether or not marketers are making the right decision in terms of pricing, and are they helping themselves or hurting themselves in the long run. So those are things to think about as we go forward with pricing. Now I have some videos out there, so when you go to do Milestone 3, you're going to be thinking about making pricing decisions, but I'm going to really simplify this and say, what is your price and how does it reflect on the value of your product? And that's a pricing decision I want you to make, as opposed to making a specific decision that will lend itself to particular financial outcomes. just think of it from a strategic standpoint and thinking about where you want your price to be. Do you want it to be an economy price? Do you want it to be a premium price or market sensitive price? And I have a few videos out there that might help you understand what I mean by that. And if you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to ask. Now, Chapter 10, you're going to describe channels of distribution and why marketers are even involved in that decision making. Because it seems like to a lot of people, it's like, well, what does marketing have to do with that? But it does, because it ultimately comes down to marketing's understanding of where customers want to buy the products. So that should enter into the equation in terms of how those products are offered. So this one's pretty easy, actually. I say it's easy. It's not really easy, but it's pretty simple from the standpoint of you just have to have your product available to your target market where they are. And if you haven't done that, you're probably not going to do so well. So you just need to be really smart about doing that. So we're going to think about channels of distribution. We're going to describe channels of distribution and why marketers use them. We're going to explain how to plan effective strategic distribution systems. You're going to discuss how conflict can arise between distribution channel members and how to try to resolve such problems. They do happen. They happen actually fairly regularly, so you have to be prepared to deal with that. And so, but in the end, you're going to make decisions about where your product is available based on where your target market is looking to buy it. Okay, so that has to do with where they shop. And if you were smart about that and you've done some research, that's not all that hard to answer. So keep that in mind. It'll really play out big time with milestone number 3. Okay? So as a matter of reminder, for this week, you will turn in milestone number 2. Review the notes on milestone number 3. I'll get those out there for you. Milestone number 2 is due by the end of the day on July 6th. Sorry to cut your holiday weekend off that way. Make sure you get your post out there by Thursday, July 3rd. And respond to your classmates' post by July 6th. Okay, so that's what you have coming up this week. Happy 4th of July to everybody. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And I'm here to help you. Okay? All right. Take care and best of luck.